All right, welcome in. Woo, it's a chilly one tonight. Tonight's stream is a chili dog stream. It is cold. All right. Welcome into the New Year's stream. This is me just kind of having some fun tonight. What's up, Groves? Bayo, Happy New Year's. Colleen, how are you? Jenny, Happy New Year. Welcome in. We are unscripted tonight. But I do have a couple little projects I have to get out of the way. We're going to be making a little flying pig. And then I have one peppermint swirl to do. But other than that, I think we're good. But before we go there, I got to get whatever is bugging the hell out of my eye right there. Okay, let's get this thing rolling. We're going to make a little piggy tonight. Oh, you got it, Groves. I'm glad you're happy. What's up, John? How are you? J-Dub. Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome in. So yeah, we're going to make a little piggy right now. And then I got to do one peppermint swirl. Someone ordered it, and I have to get it out. It is the best way tonight. We are just going to let it roll tonight. What's up, Diane? Happy New Year. How are you? Yeah, we're just going to let it roll for a little bit. Have a good time. What's up, Melissa? Red Squeak. How are you? Happy New Year, everybody. All right, so again, we're just making a little tiny flying pig. This is one of those quick items, not too long. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love seeing everybody on here. It's like my happy place. Okay, so we got the little piggy body started. And we're going to pull a little bit for the tail, little section of it, but then we got to do the head and everything else. So we're just going to bring it right here, pull a little bit. I wish this one was a little bit in a bigger version, but it is the mini pig. So I got to do it small. But small's okay. Small is good. Fritzy's on his tranquilizers tonight. He does not like the fireworks, so he is out of it. Okay, going to make the pig head. Pig head. I hate saying that, but it is a piggy head. What's up, Gail? How are you? Good to see you. Okay, so we're going to go through this step by step a little bit. I think we'll take our time tonight. There's no rush. All right, so there we have the body, the pig head. Almost a hummingbird, right? If it was a little thinner. Notice everything kind of has the same theme to it as I start building it. And then it's the last little bit that changes. There. So it's always, everything has a pretty much a standard base to it, a lot of items. And then it's the last like 10%, 20% that changes the entire item. Been sick? I'm so sorry to hear that. Sick is no place to be, especially starting off the year. All right, first things first, we got to give it a little tiny mouth down here. Like that. And then we're going to give it some side jowls. And there we go. So again, I know it's going to be really hard to identify everything as I go through, but we're going to build it in stages. I'll show you all kind of how we're getting there. All right, next step is we're going to put the little pig nose on. Now this is one of those parts you kind of have to overemphasize, because it's one of the primary features. So you make it just a slight bit bigger than what you would think. All right, so now we got the piggy nose on there. I know it's super hard to see right there. I try and keep it around my head so it's visible. All right, we're going to add the eyeballs. I'm going to kick it down a notch to get a little more detailed in here. Unfortunately, this was one of the items that got lost in the mail, so that's why we're remaking it. All right, so we got the eyeball started here. Now this is where we change up a little. I got a little brass tool here that is a brass tube. We're going to heat it up and we're going to give the little eyes an impression. So we give them little eyeballs in there with a eyebrow. Like that. So now we got the eyes formed right in there. I'm going to bring it right there. It just adds a lot of detail. And then we got to do the ears. Little ear there. And a little ear there. So we got the head built now. And then we got the little face going on. I wish you guys could see that a little better, but there's the face. Next step, we're going to add in the feet, and then we'll do the wings and the hook, or the hook and wings, I guess I should say. So first things first, we're going to add the little piggy feet. And they're just little stubby feet. It does change a little color, and that's because the metals are activated in the glass that create the color. So when the metals get hot, just like you see someone blacksmithing, and the metals get orange and change colors, same thing with the glass. When the metals are hot and activated, then they definitely change over. All right, next step. Back little feet. And we're going to make... Thank you, Dragonfly, for the super chat. Appreciate you. Happy New Year. Okay, we're going to do this last little foot here. Hopefully Dragonfly and Groves and any other glass blower that's watching picks up a little bit here. Little tiny tricks and tips. All right, so we got to heat it up. I'm gonna put this right here. That way y'all can see it flatten. I didn't want to flip that whole marble mold over. We just have to add a little bit more squishies to it. I don't know why, this thing always makes me laugh. This guy is cute as hell. We're not done yet, though. All right, so we got the pig built. Now we just have to make the hook and the wings. So give me 1 second. I'm going to garage this in the kiln. We're going to make a quick hook, and then we'll pop on the wings. We got this. What's up, Logan? How are you? Good to see you. Happy New Year to you. Welcome in. I love welcoming. If you are new to my channel or you're just popping in, say hello. I love saying hi. Nick, what's up? How good evening. All right. Pop that off. Little bubble on there. All right, let's make this hook. So this is the pig that has the wings spread out. It's not the ones that are together. Gabriel, hello. All right, here we go. So we're going to make the little tiny hook. Now, normally I do these with the flat hook, but on this particular piece, we have to make the part where it attaches very skinny because the wings are pretty close in there. So have to make adjustments for that. It's one of those things that you get started making it and you get all the way done with it and you're like, uh-oh, that ain't gonna work. My holding rods are all gone too. All right, so we're gonna detach this here. I'm gonna put the hook on first and then we will make the wings. Now, one of the things that I don't discuss often is the process of how I do things and why I do them in a certain order. But this one tonight, I will explain why I'm doing it this particular way. And why I'm putting the hook on first is 2 reasons. One, I need to be able to center it in there between the wings. So if I tried to do it after the wings were built, it'd be hard to get the flame in there. But number 2, it's going to allow me to center the hook in the middle where the wings should be, and then the wings can go on the sides. So it's going to make the wings centered as well. So it's kind of like a little guideline like I do with the hummingbird. Kind of gives me my starter point. Break off. There we go. All right, so now we got the hook on there. You can kind of see it hanging right there, and it is dead center in the middle of the piggy. Now I can safely apply the wings and not worry about being off center. Even to this day, after 31 years, it is very possible for me to go off center with these wings and make them goofy. So here we go, wing number 1. And again, this is the spread wing version. So now we got wing number 1 popped on there. And we're going to pop number 2. Cruising, how are you? Happy New Year. Thank you for the super chat. It is very scary out there, number one. Number two, it is cold as a monkey's butt. All right, here we go. Almost done. Here we go. Got to give it a little bend to match the other one. I like it. So now we got the wings all applied to the flying pig. I just never know. I like the spread wing version, and I like the actual closed wing. It's hard to decide which one I like the most. Okay, so we're going to attach a little tiny punty right to the edge of this nose. And then we'll pull the small tail. Went to Sour got video. There you go. There, just an itty bitty tail. Then we smooth that out. So my neighbors are firing off a lot of fireworks right now because we live out in the boonies. And there is the pig with wings, all set up. Little guy's cute as heck. Let me make sure he sits. Okay. We're wearing the POV camera right now, and it is not overheating. Thank God. Okay, so real fast, we're going to make a peppermint swirl, and then we're going to have some fun. And then I'll explain what this is and why we have it. So we're going to explain that here after I do the peppermint swirl. And this here. And what it is and what we'll be doing with it. Peppermint swirl. Let's go. I think I got a long enough one right here. Yep, you'll work. There we go. Let's kick on the outer flame. I am cold as a freaking Eskimo out here, man. It is cold. Let's go. Man, this POV cam is picking up an amazing video right now. I have to make sure it doesn't get too hot, though. In fact, I hate to do this. I'm going to cool the POV off a little bit. All right, let's close this tube off and then turn it to a peppermint swirl. And then after that, I'll explain what we're doing with this stuff. We're going to make it interesting night tonight. I ever tell you how much I love hanging out with all of you? I really do. I love hanging out with all of you. I never thought I would love streaming this much, but I do. I have an AIM kiln, A-I-M, AIM, like, ew, AIM. All right, so this is my glasses. These are the filters I use in my lenses. We're going to drop this in, and I'm going to give you a little sideshow. We're on a side quest right now. So you can see the total difference of what my life looks like that. Little side quest. I appreciate it because I love hanging out with all of you. I mean that. I really mean it. Okay, let's add some lines in here. And here we go. Some guy on live a couple swipes ago waiting for the rapture. I'm sure. Vegan plumber, how are ya? Welcome into the chat. Mario, welcome in. I'm sorry, the only thing that roars on me is my stomach. That's about it. So we're adding the white lines in. I'm sure you guys are sick of the peppermint swirls, but gotta do one. And then we're going to explain what those little silvery rocks on my bench are and what we're going to do with them. Y'all inspired me to dig them out. The mystery rocks. What are they for? Okay, so we got the white lines laid down. We're going to do the red. Man, it is cold. It's freezing. All right, so I'm going to show you all the red if you have not seen it before. This is an incredible little piece of glass. Red is a very unique color. This one is called Red Elvis. And after I get done applying this to this tube, Elvis will have left the building. And Elvis will come back to make an encore in just a second. So we're going to bring it up. Pay attention to that middle section right where my eyes are. And just keep an eye on it for a second. And in about 3 seconds, you're going to start to see something happen. In 3, 2, 1. Elvis has returned for the encore. So the red goes completely transparent and then revives back to itself in just a few seconds. It is a trippy, trippy, trippy color. And it is really named Red Elvis. Right now we're just putting Red Elvis on this tube. We're going to turn it to a peppermint swirl, and then we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to make some projects. And one more here. I can't tell you how many times I've done this and forgot one red line on here. You get done with the peppermint swirl and it's all beautiful and you missed one spot. It's really annoying. So I got to go through and double check it every time now. Yep, we're all good. There we go. Oh, this will be super, super, super red when it cools off. The camera's not picking it up exactly the way it is, but when you see it in person, it is definitely red. Okay, so we're going to pull all this down to the front and spiral it up. And then, like I said, we'll explain this stuff up here. All right, we're going to take that, spin it around. And what is happening right here is we are spinning the colors at the very front together so that they all converge to the very tip of this and create a nice little termination point where they end. This is the beginning of the peppermint swirl. Like that. So now all the colors have been brought front and center, and they're organized into a spiral. Next step is we're going to heat the whole thing up and shrink it down and blow it out. You do have to be cautious of ventilation, but you can see all the cold air blowing across my mouth here as I'm even speaking. I am in a very, very open air environment with lots of airflow. I do have two CO2 detectors. One is right beneath me, and one is in the other corner of my studio. So I am cautious to run CO2 detectors, even though I'm pretty 99.9% sure I'm good. I always got to be cautious. So I am always running and watching the gases, make sure we're all good. But yeah, that is a very big concern if you are getting into this and you do not have proper, airflow, at least, fresh air coming in and exiting. Yeah, you could definitely do some harm. So one of the first things I do when I talk to people and I help them with their studios, there's two factors that I implore to get done. One, make sure you have plenty of airflow, okay? You got to have air circulating through whatever you're in. Number two, you got to have flashback arresters. And a flashback arrestor is a little device that goes on your tanks that stops the gas from backfiring into your tank. I can't tell you how many times I've seen glass blowers without flashback arresters. And they're not expensive, like $20. Not expensive. Okay, we got a beautiful swirl here. We're going to bring it out. And what's up, Maryland? How are you? Happy New Year. And we're going to watch the red just kind of evolve. So keep your eye on it right up here. We're going to watch the red pop in. And in about 3 seconds, it's going to start evolving. 2, 1, and now it's starting to come in. And it's just going to get darker and darker all the way into that center. Just keep your eye on it. It'll be magical. And there it goes. And now we have red all the way through. Magic. All right, got to pop a hole in here. Yep, carbon monoxide. Sorry, you know what I meant. I'm dyslexic, so I get away with it. I can get away with it. But I always tell people that and flashback arresters. Gotta have flashback. All right, we got to pop a hole in here. And we're looking good. So that's where the hook will go. Can I do a flaming skull? Not right now, but someday. And we're going to pop a little punty on here. And then we're going to pull it off. All right, we're good. I'm a little crooked on my holding rod, but that's okay. I'm all good. Man, it's cold. All right, here we go. We're going to pull this down and spin it up. What's up, KCH? Thank you for the flaming heart. Or was it floating heart? Floating heart. If you are new into the channel, this is your first time watching, welcome in. Feel free to say hi in the chat. All right, we're going to bring this down, tighten up that swirl. Get a little ASMR sizzle there. You can watch forever. Yeah, I like fire too. This one's really controlled though. So this flame is extremely controlled. I mean, I can get my hand right there to it, and it's not hitting me. It's very focused. All right, now we got that flattened out, just like a peppermint swirl. We just have to put a little hook on it, and this will be done. What's up, Wichita? Welcome in. No functional. Unless you want to call a writing pen that with a Bic insert functional. Or a hummingbird feeder, functional. Okay. I'm going to bring it in. Make a hook. Now, there's just no lack of choices in that market. I don't have a problem with the market at all. It is what it is. I don't have any issues with the market at all. It's just flooded. I mean, there's so many people out there making functional stuff. There's no need for me to continue making that stuff over 20 years. I can't say I've never made it, but not anymore. All right, let's add a little, just a little baby hook right there. All right, heat this tool up. Always got to heat the tool up before you apply it to glass. And then we just tap. Boop. And we're all good. And then we got the famous peppermint swirl. Just like the candy. That's what it is supposed to look like, at least. Park it all the way into the back. Wow, really? Okay, I guess I ran out of battery. We're going to park this off to the side. That's a short little run. But we got some good POV footage there. All right, so let's talk about a few things tonight before we get started. We're going to talk about what we're going to do and what's going on tonight. So this is the little mushroom and the marble we made the other day, or last night. I don't know if y'all can see that little mushroom sitting in there. And my neighbor's firing off fireworks like crazy. So that's the little guy from there. Then it's hard to see, but these have the little wafers, the chips, the silicon chips in there, in the marbles. This one's really difficult to see in there, but there's the little silicon chip in there. I'll try and run the flashlight on it so y'all can see it. Nope. Got to use the light there. So see that little silver shiny obelisk looking thing in there? That is the silicon, which is exactly what this is. So this is a big chunk of broken, pre-broken cylinder before they ever make the wafers for the computer chips or the chips. So we're going to break a part of this off, and then we're going to encase it in a marble, and it's going to look absolutely freaky cool. It's going to look like a little asteroid sitting in the marble itself. This is a little different version of it, a little chunkier. You know what? I think we'll do the little chunky version right now. We'll kind of make that. We'll do that one. So we're going to break off a little piece of it here. There. Going to chunk that off. And we're going to build a marble around that little tiny chunk right there. Now what's going to end up happening is as I start encasing this and start building the marble, that little chunk is going to get magnified by all the clear glass. And hopefully we have an amazing piece. So let's go ahead and start doing that. Let's get the chunk encased first, and then we'll build the entire scene and everything around it. We're going to build everything around it. So this is like a super chunky version. I'm going to park it right in that little chamber right there. And while we're heating this up, I will show you, this is exactly what my lens material in my glasses is made of. I do have an extra little coating on mine, but there you can see how it cuts out a lot of that glare. We're going to bring it down this way. And you can see definitely the difference there. And that is how I can see what I'm doing versus that. Now, in 2026 coming up, we will definitely have a horizontal live stream going where I will have that filter on one of the cameras. So that filter will be on one of the cameras so you can see that view all the time. And I'm just now working on it to get it finalized here. All right, got to pull all this off. This is a bunch of crap. Bunch of crap. All right, so we are encasing a full chunk of silicone, a small chunk, not this big, into the piece. It should look like an asteroid. Yeah, like 3i Atlas, exactly. It should look like an asteroid in there. And then we're going to build the marble around that little asteroid. So what I want it to do is look like a little asteroid sitting inside a marble with a galaxy around the outside of it. So that's the goal tonight. We're going to be doing that. All right. So we're going to take just a second here. I'm going to melt this up. We've got to get it big enough. Then we're going to dip it right in here, and we're going to create that little bit of an asteroid. It's definitely worth sticking around. Don't swipe away for a few minutes. Give me 2 minutes, not to swipe away. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, here we go. Very slow compression in there. Oh, we're looking good. All right, so now we got that little tiny chunk sitting dead center in there. I'm hoping you can see that. That little shiny spot is the little silicon, not silicone. It's not an implant. Sounds like an implant commercial. Stay for the silicone. Now I got it backwards. All right, so now the trick is we're going to add a bunch of clear to the top of this. I'm going to try and trap it with as little air as possible. Get a little fuzzy chunk on here, damn it. Okay. All right, so we're going to try and encase this, trap as little air as possible. There we go. I think I got it pretty good there. All right, we're good. So this should have a little tiny asteroid in it. It'll look a lot bigger once we get it magnified, and then we're going to build a little galaxy around the outer portion of it. I'm going to try and keep that chunk of asteroid centered in there as much as possible. This is where I don't have enough practice, and I'm not as skilled as other marble makers in that regard, but I am getting better. Trying to keep it centered in there is not easy. And there are some really fantastic marble makers out there that can keep that sucker centered in there perfectly. Okay. Gonna trim that off. And I can already tell I'm a tiny bit off center already. All right, we're gonna have to fix this. We are a little off center. I can fix that. Let's use a big chunk of it right now. I need a lot of control. Yeah, I'm already off center. And then I'll show you what it looks like in there pre getting it all done. It'll get tempered after I do this. So the tempering will happen after I put it in the kiln and let it soak for a while. That's where the tempering happens. Right now, there is no tempering going on. Okay, so we're putting a lot of glass on here. I'm going to try and get this thing back into shape. I'm going to have to maneuver it a little bit funky. So we're going to pull it off to the side like this. So this bottom one is centered with that little chunk. The top one, I'm going to have to maneuver and pull it off and try and keep it as centered as possible. Definitely not as I planned, but we're adapting. Center is boring. Oh, no, I kind of want to keep it centered in there, though. I want it to look like just this floating icon in there. You ever seen Star Trek where the Borg is flying through space and you got that cube just sticking out there? That's what I want this to look like. Just this flying funky chunk running through the marble. Like a Borg cube. All right, we're doing good now. Yeah, we're doing really good. It's centered in there now. Might look cool in a UFO too. I could do a UFO shape. Make a little UFO. That'd be neat. Ooh, it's looking good. All right, we're going to separate it. I want to show you exactly where we're at now. I'm going to show you the process of where we're at. I really want to show this to you. Give me just a minute to do this. Terry, how are you? Oh man, this is going to be epic. It's going to look good. This will be one of the most epic marbles we've done in a while. I got to keep it spinning before I show it. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit. This marble will take a little bit. I'm just saying, give me 2 minutes to show you processes. Processes. All right. I don't know if it's going to be visible without the flashlight. But, oh man, is it in? I don't know if you can see it. It's dead center in there. I'm going to have to use the flashlight. We're going to bring it up. All right, let me pull this flame down so I don't toast my hand on fire. Okay, in there is the little tiny chunk. It's super red right now. It's even hard to see in there. All right, trust me, it's in there. There it is, a little bit dead center. So there is that little wafer sitting in there. Now, once I get a background on it, it's definitely going to show up. All right, next step, we're going to add a background to this. So we're going to create a spacey background. Yeah, we're going all out. We're going to bust out the silver. We're going to throw a tiny bit of silver chunks on there. So this is pure silver, like silver oxide, ground up silver. And I'm going to just put a tiny little bit. That's in here. It's a silver powder. It is one there. And one there. And maybe you can see a little bit of the silver splatter on there. You're going to see it here very well in just a minute. It's going to kind of turn the rest of the piece kind of yellowish on here. And now we got a little bit of that yellow. Oh, there's see the chunk right in the middle? There it is, right there. There's the chunk floating in there. That is the little silicon asteroid. All right, now we're going to back it up. I don't know what color I want to do fully on this. All right, we're going to do some black. Definitely black. So we're going to back it with some black. That is not the right color. Okay, that's crap. That is. I don't know what that color was, but it was not black. And here we go. We're going to start encasing it around. And one over here. All right, so we got some black lines running all the way around it now. And then the marble will be visible from this direction. Now, you know me, I'm going to have to throw some uranium at it. Just because that's how we roll. We're going to throw some uranium in here. So for those of you who don't know, uranium glass is the glass that glows under black light. It's also commonly referred to as Vaseline glass. Throw some there. So this is uranium glass. For those of you who don't know, I'll bring it over just a little bit so you can see it kind of glowing. See how bright green that is? That's the uranium. We're tossing that underneath there. Can I speak Indonesian? I cannot. I love Indonesia. I had a great time there. I had a great time in Indonesia. I love the people there. All right, we're going to add black back to it. Actually, I'm going to use a smoky quartz. Ooh, I forgot about this color too. Holy crap. All right, this is a really rare color. This is a very, very sparkly teal. Now, teal is not very friendly to being encased in deep inside marbles. But this one in particular is completely safe to encase. It is a very rare one-off batched version. Okay, so I'm just adding a lot of color here. It's going to look like a sloppy mess for the moment. Why is it called Vaseline glass? Someone actually had typed, I had asked that question and I forgot. I think Red Squeak had looked it up and was able to find the information. But yeah, Vaseline glass is what it is called in a lot of circles. I think it because it kind of creates a little Vaseline look. Thank you, Bayo. Bayo looked it up, maybe. Yeah, someone that looked it up. All right, so I got to add the black on top of that uranium real quick. Because we're about to kind of change the whole chemistry of this. We're just coming all the way around. Now this marble is going to be one-off, epic, incredible, beautiful. I can already tell you it is going to be one of those ones that you just look at and go, okay, that's cool. But creation is messy, and that's where we're at right now. We're at the creation is messy stage. And I think we got enough. We got enough on there. Unfortunately, this thing's going to be gigantic too. It's going to be a big old marble. All right, so first things first, we got a bunch of this color just kind of striped all the way around. Now what I'm going to do with this is we're going to take it and we're going to start intertwining it and mixing it together, creating these little mini swirls on here. And so when you look at the marble from the inside, you'll see all these tiny little mini swirls evolving through there. Theoretically. As long as everything works right. All right, here we go. We're going to start popping it in now. And then that little tiny chunk of silicone is sitting in there. It's looking good in there too. All right, let's go ahead and start swirling this around, swirling it, blending it all together. And remember, we put that silver on the inside down here. So we created a little silver galaxy underneath here. And when I say silver, I mean we use pure silver for it. It's not going to look silvery. It's going to have kind of like a light blue and yellowish hint to it, like little stars. And then we definitely put a little uranium in there. So under blacklight, it'll glow green. But this should look like something kind of similar to like the Horsehead Nebula. Out in space. I'm a little bit of a space nerd. And we're getting all the twists and turns going. And I think we're just about done with that portion. So I'm going to superheat this and bring it over to you and show you kind of what it looks like while it's hot. Drop it like it's hot, right? I really didn't just say that. All right, so we're going to bring it over and I'm going to try and get you. There it is. You can see all those little swirls. It's going to be there just here and gone. Little micro swirls. And then we have to do the top portion up here just to balance it out. And then we're going to start pushing it into a marble. I want to kind of create this little chaos up here on the ridge. Woo, got hot. Nope, nope, don't do it. And a little bit right here, and it should be good. I got one spot right here that's bugging the hell out of me. There. All right, we're good. We're going to start forming this into a marble now. Now we're going into it. So the next step is we're going to take this up and we're going to heat it. We're going to give it a little bit of a spiral, like a little twisty around it. That's a little short. That would definitely sting. You just grab it here and just kind of spin the marble. Keep this one stationary. Like that. Pull that off. Now, if I did this correctly, we should have a little mini vortex on the bottom, creating a simulated black hole. But that's if I did it right. I could be completely wrong. Okay, so there we are. You can see all the little swirls in there. The top has that little spiral right there. So from the inside, you'll see it on the inverse. So we're going to see it on the inverse. Okay. I'm going to show you, while we're heating this, it's going to take a second. I'm going to use the filter. This is what my glasses, the lenses that are in my glasses are of this material here called didymium. We're going to use the filter while we're right here to show you a little bit. So that's how I see the world. Red Squeak, Happy New Year to you. So we got that, and then I'm going to drop it down one level. Now you can definitely see how I see the world versus that. Epic, right? It does look like a storm spiraling through there. Correct. Thank you for saying that too. If you are new to my channel right now and this is your first time watching, say hello. Say howdy, even if you're a troll. We'll show the trolls some love. All right, so we're going to start bringing it in and start forming it up. Like that. What's up? How are you? I'm glad everybody's saying hello. Hi. Good to see everybody. Welcome in from Malaysia. Wow, thank you, everybody. Happy New Year to you. Well, I'm happy you're not a troll, but welcome in. Happy to see you. Thank you for saying hello. I really mean it. I appreciate it. This is going to be an epic marble, by the way. It is going to fire off some amazing things in it. Sacramento, welcome in. I lived in Elk Grove for a while, long time. Elk Grove. All right, so there we are. And we're going to kind of round it off here. Oh man, this is looking good. I'm going to fire it up a little. I'm going to bring it back over and show you. Hopefully we get it. California says hi. Hello back to California. Federal Way, welcome in. All right, watch it cool. It's going to be a very short glance to it. Very short. There's the spiral, and then it just kind of disappears right now. We're rolling it onto a graphite plate, a graphite marble mold. Graphite is one of the very few materials that glass will not stick to. So it's used very well for making marbles like this. Another material is like cherry wood that is soaked in water. Cherry wood soaked in water can also do that same thing, but the wood does wear out after a while. This is a little stubby, man. I'm gonna have to get a different one. Hold on. I'm gonna have to split one. I know if I used that short marble, I'd be toasting my hand. You live in the city of Elk Grove? Well, welcome in. All right, we got to split this up. You know what? While we got a second, I'm going to see if I can shine the flashlight. It's cool enough right now. Maybe we'll get a little effect from it. I don't know if y'all can see. Oh, come on, show up. There. I don't know if y'all can see that little bit of sparkle and that blue cut. There it is. See all the blues coming through? So that is that spacey theme I was talking about. Kind of a cool reveal, right? Light, no light. Light. So that's what I was saying. It will definitely have a different color to it. Keystone State, Phoenix, Arizona. What's up? How long have I been working with glass? 31 years. Well, it is next month. Holy crap. It's 32 years. Yeah, January is my anniversary month. So now it's 32 years. All right, there we go. So this next part is the crucial part. This is where we're going to be adding all the rest of this clear here. And we're going to magnify everything up. Rachel, Homegrown Cooking, welcome in. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. All right, this is where we get it looking really good. Singapore, welcome in. You have one of the nicest airports on the planet. Okay, so this next step is we're going to be adding a lot of clear. This is where everything gets magnified. So that little tiny chunk of silicon is floating in there. So if you are just joining or you've just been here just for a few minutes, we took a little tiny chunk of these failed silicon wafer towers, if you will, which is this stuff right here. And we broke some chunks off and we encased it in here in the marble. Now, when I get done, it should look like there is a asteroid sitting inside a space station. And that is the goal. So there should be a simulated asteroid in there. Lake Havasu, woo, welcome in. Portugal, India, welcome in. East Coast, welcome in. All right, almost lost it right there. All right, let's add in the last of this, and I'm going to show you that little asteroid sitting in there. It should be very visible now. As soon as I get this kind of chunked out a little bit and a little mass built onto it, I'll be able to show you. You should see that asteroid floating in there. And yeah, someone had mentioned 3i Atlas. We're going to call it that, a little 3i Atlas. 3i Atlas Jr. Minnesota Bay, Casa Grande, Arizona. Welcome in. Chicago. Welcome in. Gatlin, Tennessee. We are making a gigantic little marble. Doesn't that sound funny? gigantic little marble. Right now I'm just trying to get this clear on here without creating a little crease. I got a little tiny spot in there where if I don't do it right, it's going to create an air bubble, and that will make me not happy. And I have to use 2 fingers on this rod now because the end of this rod, can you see the end where my hand is glowing? Like really bright right there? So that is creating a magnifying effect, like a magnifying glass, and it is hot as heck. The rod itself isn't hot, but the light coming off of it is super hot. And there we go. I think I got it now. We should be good. Wow, damn it, that is hot. I'll show you what I mean. So while this is sitting here, so this by itself is not hot. The rod itself, while I'm touching here, is not hot. But if I bring this over here, I'm going to have to use a small flame. And I let it heat up. Watch the end, this end. Watch it heat up. And it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. That will burn you from the light. Just like a, fiber optic. So that gets hot. That's why I had to move it. That's why we don't use shorty rods. See how bright that got though? All right, now we're going to take this egg shape and we're going to break it down and we're going to flatten it out into the marble shape, and I'm going to show you that little tiny chunk floating in there. It's going to be amazing. What have I made that you're most proud of? I have a lot of cool stuff. You know what? This is going to take a minute for me to rotate. I'll grab one of my favorite pieces. We'll multitask. We're going to be working on a new version of this year coming up. So I'm going to make another one of these. We're going to take the little side parts off. We're going to make a new one. And they're going to have dragon wings coming off here. And then the back of the dagger, where the head of the spine, we're going to put a little spiny neck to it. So it's going to have a dragon spine to it too. Show the self-portrait. I don't know if anybody wants to see my self-portrait. I don't know if anybody wants to see the self-portrait. If you guys want to see my self-portrait, you can type one in the chat. All right, so I'm melting this in right now. This is going to take a second. It's really going to just it's going to take a minute for this to melt in. This is like the part where it takes a second. Actually, a few seconds. Self-portrait? Okay, I can do that. Yeah, now you have to bear in mind, this is when I was a little younger, so you'll recognize some features, but it's not good, it's a self-portrait of me when I was young. So you'll recognize a few features, yeah. All right, let me grab it. I got to bring it way over here. It's really epic. Oh, here we go. While I'm melting this. And there we go. This is me, a self-portrait of when I was really, really young. You can see the resemblance of the hair like that. So that's me when I was really, really young. Like that. See? Had a good sense of direction. And yeah, I was pretty fast. All right, let's melt this in. I do sell stuff, absolutely. All right, we got to kick this on. There we go. Dragonfly, thank you so much. Angel, thank you so much. Sorry, my sense of humor can be a little off at times. Thank you guys for laughing, though. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I know, uncanny resemblance. I know, right? Austin, Texas in the house. All right, so we are getting this all rounded out now. It's looking really good. What's going to happen right here is I'm going to bring this down a little bit. It's going to widen this middle section of the marble out. And then we're going to shrink it back down into the marble form, and it should be done. Thank you, Pedro, or Paul. Paul, thank you. Jane, thank you. Paul, thank you for the jewels. I said Pedro. Jane, thank you. Bill, thank you for the jewels. All right, so we got to start getting this round now. And we're going to start working on that. And then I'll show you where the little asteroid is in there. And it looks really good. It does look good in there. Let me thin this out a little bit, get it super smooth. I got to keep it rotating a little, but there's the little asteroid sitting in there now. So that is a chunk of this silicon wafer failed material, and there it is. So now you can definitely see it sitting in there. And we created a little simulated galaxy underneath it. So it should look like a little asteroid floating inside a galaxy marble. Paul, thank you so much. Thank you for all the jewels. Bill, thank you. Mason, thank you. All right, let's get this rounded out. Now you can see that little nugget in there. So now our only job is to round it out. That is my only job now, is to round it out. Leroy, thank you for the New Year's Eve. I appreciate it. All right, so we got a good portion of the top part rounded. We're going to switch the punty again to the other side. And we're going to get rid of this egg shape, and it should look very, very good. One more time, I'm going to show you the little asteroid-looking piece in there. Should be very visible. And you can see a little bit of that. All right, I'm going to try something. I probably shouldn't do this, but what the heck. All right, look inside, and then maybe on the deep inside, you can see all those little colors bouncing through. See all the blues and stuff bouncing through there? That is the space theme going on with a little asteroid in there. It looks really good. Need the appropriate holding right. Well, thank you so much for the gift memberships. Thank you for doing that. Rachel, thank you for the party hat. Leroy, thank you. Hi, Jojo. Yeah, that looks really, it's pretty epic in there, to be honest. And it has the uranium glass, so it's going to glow under the black light. It's definitely a conversation piece. Jam, thank you so much. Appreciate it. David, thank you. Leroy, okay, so we got to bring this back here, and we just have to smooth out the back end. This one will be done. Man, this looks really cool. Oh, man. It literally looks like an asteroid just floating in there. All right, we got that melted off. All right, next job, we just have to get this round now. We're almost done. Good night, Colleen. Yeah, we just have to get this round now. We should be good to go. Oh man, this is so freaking cool. I don't get that excited over stuff half the time, but this one looks really cool. I haven't done one of these pieces in a very, very long time. I would say this chunk right here is probably 20 years old. What's the most I've sold something for? In the 12,000 range. But I don't like selling stuff for that expensive. I'd rather sell it to a bunch of people, smaller stuff, and have my artwork like floating all the way out there. I'd rather have people that work for a living and appreciate things, and I'd rather get it in their hands than one or two rich people. That's my philosophy, but good night, cruising. Thank you for everything. But yeah, I would rather sell a bunch of stuff to, I don't want to say common people, but like working class people. You know, people like me. Than like one or two exotic pieces to someone that's super, super rich. And that's just kind of the way I am. I mean, someone that's super rich could buy a marble like this and be super happy. They don't have to have it like, you know, doesn't have to be gargantuan price. But more importantly, on this particular channel, one of my goals is to start inspiring people to want to take this up as a hobby or career. If I can inspire, you know, just a few people to take this up as a hobby or career, that would be a really good thing for me. I would feel super happy about that. You know, I know that Groves Glass Gallery and Dragonfly on here are in the art too. They're doing the same thing I do, lamp working, and they're doing fantastic job. And they have been excellent mods helping me out. We got Red Squeak, but they're doing the same thing, and they're picking it up and doing a fantastic job. Where do you even begin? That's a good question. First step I would take is join a group on Facebook. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but there's a group on there called Torch Talk. Join that group and find a glassblower semi-local to your area and do what I call an experience. An experience isn't a glassblowing lesson. It is a process where you go in and you learn to just make a mushroom and maybe one other thing with the guidance of your instructor, just to see if you like being around fire. Some people have bought a bunch of equipment before and decided they hate fire. So do a 2-hour class. Once you decide you like it, then you buy your equipment. It's going to be about $2,500 to $3,000 to start. And then you take 1 or 2 basic classes. Don't go head first into it like taking 20 classes. Take 1 or 2 and then practice. And just practice. I always equate it to like learning a musical instrument. If you gave me a guitar and said, here's a chord, now go play Eddie Van Halen, I couldn't do it. So you just have to practice. All right, we have a 99% chance this marble's going to fall off the punty rod on my left hand. 1% chance I get lucky and it doesn't. But if it falls, I'm perfectly fine. But this is the part I hate, right here. And that's because the attachment is so thin right up there, it's a very, very possibility of it falling. Because it's not fused on there, it's just tacky. Okay, we're going to pull off this little scrappy scrap right there. Make sure there's no bubbles. And then we're going to finish rounding that off. And this marble will be done. This one's epic. There's no on the 275 GT. If you can find a GTT links for 275 and it's in good shape, I would buy it 100%. I would absolutely buy a Lynx. That's one of the first torches I recommend. Yeah, Eddie Van Halen was a goat, but I was a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan. I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. Still a fan, not was. When he did that concert and he started playing guitar backwards behind him, wow. That was like, okay. That'd be like me glassblowing with my hands behind my back, backwards. Okay. Oh, don't you do it. I think we're good. I'm going to have to go in the mold one more time here just to make sure. All right, I think we're good. I just have to smooth that out. I'm going to try and show you with the flashlight. I can't hold it too long. And I definitely don't want to hold this over the water bucket. Wow, this looks really freaking cool. Okay, so there is the little chromy asteroid sitting in there, right? Ready for the reveal? Okay, I can't bump this. I cannot bump it. It will fall off. And here's the reveal. Look at the colors on the inside. See that space theme going on? Cool, right? All right, last step is I have to separate it. Now that's a reveal. Cool, right? That's what I'm saying. It's beautiful. All right, this is my favorite tool, one of them. And this is made by Dragonfly Creation, one of the moderators on here. So if you are a glassblower and don't have this tool, you are missing out. To get it off the marble, you just simply tap. Not very epic, right? Okay, I'm going to let it sit for a second. I'm going to try the flashlight thing one more time. I'm going to try and bring it up to the camera. There we go. Here we go. Now you can see on the inside that little spacey theme going on. See the uranium in there, that green? So that is the space marble. And hopefully the back end shows it. No, the back's not going to show it, but there. That's what I'm saying. It's just trippy on the inside. Stay. Sorry, I got to grab something to drink. That's what I'm saying. It's absolutely beautiful. So that was created, that little asteroid was created off this version here. This is a little chunk of silicon. And we just break it off in little particles, and it creates those little asteroids in there. BBH, thank you so much. How do I attach graphite to metal? What do you mean? There's no graphite attached to metal. You mean like this? That's the tool makers that do that, or Dragonfly could tell you. How big was that marble? About 2.5, 2.25, about 2.5 inches, I think. Hold on one second. Turn off that camera. Like my hair color, I've had this for like 30 years. When it first happened, I hated it. But after a while, I got used to it, and I kind of said, okay, I can dig it. So I'm going to try one of these little mushrooms. We did this the other day, like a couple weeks ago. But I want to do it with uranium and red. So we're going to do that little mushroom. I'm going to park a little uranium underneath it. And then we're going to park red on top of that and hopefully get a cool combo. So let's make a tiny little mushroom pendant. What do y'all say? How often do I come? Try to be daily. How did my hair color happen? Well, I have this ex-wife, and I'm just kidding. Probably partial reason. I'm Spanish, so I looked it up. My genetics are Spanish. I'm Spanish and German, but the Spanish part is where I got my white hair. How much for the pendant? I think these pendants are going to be like $15. They're not going to be expensive. Yeah, these are not expensive. Like I said, I'm not out to gouge people, you know. I know it's not a Picasso. You know, I get that. I can't tell you how many glassblowers I see that, you know, they think their stuff is a Van Gogh or a Da Vinci. And some of it's really cool, but not that level. All right, so we got this little blob going. And we're going to thin this little blob out right at the top here. Make it a blobby. All right, so we're going to bring that down. So this is different than the mushroom and the marble pendant we did, which is this version. We did this yesterday. These are, it had been a while since I did these, but these are like so basic. Little mushroom and a marble. I like this version better. I like these so much better. I like the 3D effect. Okay, we need to add a little uranium on here, and that's a little bubbly. We're going to get rid of that. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, let's add a little uranium. Then we're going to put red on there. We're going to do a little secret uranium underneath it. All right, that should be enough. There's a little uranium in there. Then we're going to park some red on top of that. And we should get a neat little kind of glowy green in there. Actually, we're going to do one more mushroom after this. I have the most epic mushroom we're going to do after this one. We're going to make a really cool one after this. This one will be neat too, but I'm having fun tonight. Tonight is unscripted. I came on with absolutely no plan. We're just kind of winging it. All right, so we got the little mushroom cap going. I don't even think I need to flatten this thing. It's already shaping out perfectly. I'll take it. Normally I have to put it in the marble mold. So now we got the little mushroom going on. Oop, it moved on me. What? Crap, don't move. There. Let's put some white dots on there. If I were a white dot glass, I would be right here. So we're going to give it little white spiky dots. And then after this, this next mushroom, if you want to stick around for a really cool mushroom, stick around for the one right after this. We're going to get right to it. I'm not even going to waste time. We're going to get right on it. Okay, let's pull that off. Put some white dots on here. See, it doesn't look like anything before the white dots. It looks like crap, right? Let's put some action on it. This is where I wish my eyes were better. I'm seriously considering LASIKs. All right, there we go. So now we've got some white dots. See how much better it looks? We're going to meld those in, though. I've done the Prince Rupert's drops, but I don't make them. And I'll tell you why. Main reason I don't do Prince Rupert's drops is I think they're extremely dangerous, especially in the wrong hands. So if you gave a kid a Prince Rupert's drop and they exploded it and the glass shard went in their eye, not a good thing, right? Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, I'm turning 56 this year. Actually, very soon. Turning 56 very soon. And yeah, I'm hoping I can get LASIKs and have a little bit of time. So now we got the white dots on there. And it keeps moving on me every time I show y'all. All right, so we got to finish off the back end of the little bottom of the mushroom. So we're going to make this rounded out, and then we'll put a little hook on it, and hopefully it looks good. And again, there's a very good chance it may just fall off. Very good chance. It's barely on there. There's a really good chance it could just bink right off. All right, we're looking good. Seriously, break. Okay, we got a nice little bottom on it. Let's put a hook on it and call this one done. Then we're going to do a fun freaking mushroom. Because we can. All right, let's take that white dot, melt it in. I'm going to grab a tiny little clear rod, and we're going to park it on there and make a little hook. All right, let's add a little hook to this. There, we got a tiny little mushroom with a uranium hidden gem in the back. Okay, there's a little tiny mushroom, little hanging pendant. It is red. I don't know why it looks blue. It looks blue. Oh, the black light. Look at that pinky in it. All right, we're going to do a very unique mushroom, though. I got to make sure there's something not on here. Hold on. Just doing a double check. So this is uranium glass. I was doing a double check. I got to grab one thing. And there's my winner. All right, so we are going to make a mushroom, but we're going to use this pink right here, the pink UV glass right here. As the base of the mushroom, we're going to do a uranium top. So it's going to have a pink base under black light and a green top. So we're going to make it pretty epic. Let's go. How big? I'm just going to make it a baby. It's going to be pendant size. I am freezing. I got to turn this fan off. Holy crap. I was freezing right there. Okay, we got to come through and we're going to burn this off so I have a clean little uranium deposit. So this is the uranium glass. I don't want that in there. It's scrappy. So the combination of this is going to be the mushroom base is going to be pink UV. I'm going to show you one more time here. So we got this pink. Well, it's even hard to see there. There we go. So see that pink? And that is going to be the mushroom, that really bright pink. Maybe I can bring it up here, you'll see it better. So this color is called Lucy. And this will be a really neat UV color. I think my UV is dying. I don't know if this black light will pick it up. There it is. You can see that pink. Like that. Let's go. It is freaking cold. My butt is frozen right now. I'm serious. I got a frozen butt. All right, so we got to build the mushroom base itself first. We're going to have to use a small flame. Now, unfortunately, when this is hot, the UV doesn't react. So when the glass is hot, the UV doesn't happen, even on the uranium. While it's hot, they don't glow. They have to cool off. But what I'll do is I'll leave this mushroom out for a little bit. I don't have to put it in the kiln right now. I am in Washington, and I am freezing my butt off. I'll leave it out, and I'll temper it later. This mushroom isn't going to crack, so we'll leave it out a little bit, and then I'll let it cool, and you guys can see the pink and green if you want. If you stick around long enough, you'll be able to see what it looks like cooled off. And how cold it is outside, it won't take that long. It's not going to take that long to get cooled down. And then I'll temper it later. All right, so we're building up the mushroom base right now. Sometimes working small is way harder than like medium. All right, so I'm going to separate right here. There. Going to taper it down just a little. Kind of let it naturally drip a tiny bit. So we're just going to kind of let it drip that way. So the bottom, what's falling down towards the ground, that will be the actual, where the cap is going to go, which we're going to put on right now. So we're going to put the uranium cap on. We're going to start out way out here. We're going to start adding the uranium on. And it is uranium glass. Fun fact, if you want to go have a little adventure, go to your local thrift store, your Goodwill, your thrift store, Value Village, whatever you have in your local town. Take a little mini blacklight like I just showed you, and go run it over all the glass in the thrift store. If you see it glowing green like this uranium glass, buy it if it's cheap. You will have scored the ultimate scavenger hunt. It's a fun little thing to go do, you know, especially if you go like to a town that you haven't been to in a while, or adventuring out on vacation. Take a little blacklight with you, go into a thrift store. You'd be surprised how much uranium glass you could find in there. All right, there we go. So the uranium's on there. We just have to get it into mushroom shape. Yeah, it is Lucy and uranium. So we got to get that mushroom shape, though. Right now it looks like a, never mind. It doesn't look like a mushroom. Welcome in, Abbas. Eccentric Clone, how are you? How are you doing? Steven. Okay, so we got to get this down into the little mushroom cap. So we're going to use this little, let's do this version. Give it a little push. Like that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's going to look awesome. It's going to look amazing. How was my night? My night is going good. I'm hanging in there. Actually, I'm having a good night. It's a fun night. We are just kind of running willy-nilly tonight. All right, we're going to put some little white dots on there to give the mushroom a little bit of contrast. Good night, bait. I got to remember to breathe. I'm never breathing when I put these on. Maybe I should just talk while doing it so I can breathe. It's like a bad habit. All right, we got the little white dots on there. So it's going to give it a little contrast. That's the biggest piece I've done. Solid, I have a 4-foot sword behind me. It is like a gigantic, solid sword. And then for blown glass, I have a chandelier in my house. Thank you for the New Year's wishes. Same to you. If you want to see the sword that I have, just type 1 in the chat and I will bring it out. Eccentric Clone, I would say, what's today? Well, you got New Year's to contend with, Friday. I'd probably say Tuesday, Wednesday, max. Tuesday or Wednesday, max. You should have an email. Stephanie's created an email for you, and then they'll be tracking. But I'm going to give it, a little bit of time because of the holiday. I don't know what the full holiday schedule is. All right, we got to put a little hook on here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave this out temporarily. And then when I can put it back in the kiln. No, just finish it off. Just put a hook on it. Let's put a little hook on it. We'll just finish it off. Not going to be that bad. Okay, and then we just have to round it out. Round it up. Make sure it's all straight. There we go. All right, we'll grab the sword right after this. I will grab the sword. Oh, man, I forgot to do that. All right, I'm going to have to do it the hard way. Got to separate it the other way. I should have finished this off first and had a small attachment on there, but I did not do that. So now we got to do it the hard way. This is much harder to do it this way. All right, we're going to leave this sit out for a little bit. So that has the uranium on the top, and then it has the Lucy on the bottom. Notice it's not really, it's showing a little bit, but not much right now. We're going to let it sit out, and then I'll bring it out when it cools off a little bit, and we will show it off. See what it looks like. Where am I going to park you? I'll just put you right here. What the heck? We'll leave it there. Hopefully it doesn't explode. All right, let's grab a sword. So I have to sit way back here for it because it does not fit in the camera otherwise. But that is it. This is the largest solid piece I've done to date. So solid-wise, this is as big as I've gone. I can bring the hilt over so you can kind of see a little bit of it. But it's just really hard to try and get in the whole camera. Know what I mean? But yeah, that's the biggest solid item I've done like that. And eventually I'll hang it up. Hopefully we get that thing hung up again. That would be my happy place. Get it hung up. My watch is falling off. Much better. Okay, I'll let you guys decide. Do we do a funky mushroom or do we make a hummingbird? You guys tell me. Hummingbird or mushroom? Mushroom pendant or hummingbird? You guys go vote right now. Vote in the comment. Hummingbird or mushroom? I'll check the marble here in a second. If you give me 30 seconds, I'll check the marble and we'll get it done. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab something to drink too. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a drink. Hummingbird, hummingbird, mushroom. Oh man, it's splitting. Oh, hummingbird's taking over. Yeah, hummingbird looks like it's... We could do a really cool looking hummingbird. We could definitely try and make it really look cool. Where did I put Dragonfly's tool? Oh my god. Oh, here it is. I'll see if I can bring the marble out. I'm a little worried about bringing it out too long. It's cold outside. I got to really heat this up before I do that. Yeah, I'm not doing a kitty right now. I'm not super good at cats yet. I have to figure out a cat. I had a cat that I was making for a while, and someone asked me to do it out of like an orangey brown color. And I made it, and it looked like a poop emoji when I did it that way. So I don't want to do the cat. I have to figure out a better cat. All right, this is the marble. Again, there is the little silicon asteroid in there. Now, I'm going to do the flashlight real quick so you can see the spacey theme behind it, but we got to do this fast. I can't hold it out too long. And here we go. Now you can see the space theme in the inside. See all the different colors rounding through there? And then it's got that little asteroid in there. But that is the marble from earlier. Okay, yeah, it did. The cat looked like a poop emoji. I couldn't even sell it. Because I made the cat, and I kind of made it where it was a cat that where its head was tucked into its tail. And so black, it looked really good. White, it looked really good. But then when I did it brownish orange, it really looked like a poop emoji. And I just couldn't sell it. I could never make one after that again. I had to trash the design. I just couldn't do it. All right, we're going to grab some white. Yeah, after I saw that, I was like, no, I can't make that ever again. Yeah, there was no way I could ever make it again. We're going to do a really cool color on the bird. So we're going to do the white base with it, and then we're going to do amber purple on the wings. This is a really cool color. So this is called amber purple. It looks very transparent right now. I'm going to heat it up just a little bit so we can get a little darkness to it. So it turns like an ambery color when it heats up and gets hot, and it comes back and it changes. See how that tip just got really kind of ambery? So we're going to put that over here, and we're going to start making the hummingbird body out of white. I need to use this stuff up. So the hummingbird will take me about 6-7 minutes. So if you got 6 or 7 minutes, it's worth hanging out. Yeah, the poopy cat experience sucked. So I got to come up with a better cat design. I thought it was cool at first because, like I said, the head was tucked into the tail. I thought it was, you know how cats lay and they just have that head tucked in the tail version? So that's kind of what I made it. And then, yeah. After I saw that, I just could never make it again. I've never made one since in that design. All right, let's make this bird. Here we go. If you want to time me, you can time me. Should be about 6 minutes. And here we go. We're building up the body right now. Now this white will be very dense. It'll be like porcelain white. It's a funky color. It looks all transparent, sandy. And then when you start melting it, it goes kind of porcelain. I am not a fan of this particular white. In fact, when I'm done with this white, I am never buying it again. But I have a little bit of it. We're going to turn it into some hummingbirds and then call it done. Never to have it again. Happy New Year to everybody. All right, let's go. We're going to make the little portion for the tail. So this next step that I'm doing is where we kind of make a guideline for the tail. It gives me a little bit of direction of how far to make the tail, how far out to pull it, and the direction and the angle of the tail. So we bring it here and we just stretch it out, pull it right off the body like that. And we're going to melt that off. And like I said, it just gives me a little guideline of where the tail goes now. So we're going to grab that amber purple that I put somewhere where I said I would not lose it. Here it is. And we're going to make the tail. Now, one of the things about my hummingbirds, I do not like using tools with them. I like to freehand everything. There's nothing wrong with doing a bird with a tool for making wings or tail. I just like to freehand it. It feels like I'm drawing with the glass when I do it this way. It just, I just like it better that way. I said it makes me feel like I'm drawing. All right, there is the tail. We got it going. Now, it'll turn in a really nice dark amber color very shortly, or eventually. All right, we got that tail done. We're going to pop on what's called a little punty right here, little holding rod, cold tap. There we go. Dingle dangle it down. Make the head. And there we go. Got the head form. We're going to put a little hook on it so it can hang. All right, slow down, Whiskey Pete. There we go. So we got to put a little hook on there so it can hang by something. There we go. Let it form, bring it down. Okay. I put it on a little crooked. There we go. So now we got a tiny little hook hanging there. And let's do some wings. This is my favorite part, right here. I'm going to crank up the heat just a tiny bit. Let's make some wings. Again, I love freehanding all this. I just feel like I'm drawing with glass. There we are, and here we go. This portion is right here, is super important, right there. And we're going to meld that in. Now this wing will be super ambery later. So there is the wing number 1 completed. Let's draw wing number 2 here. And here we go. We're on wing number 2. Now, of the 2 wings, this is the harder of the 2 because it constantly wants to go down with gravity. So you have to be a little bit slower on this one. Let it settle up before you try and pull it apart. And smooth that out. Get the bend going so they're even. Now we got 2 wings on there nice and even. And we're going to put a little beak on it, some eyeballs, and call it done. Okay, beak is done. Pop this down. Eyeballs are a little more difficult to get on there. There's 1. There's 2. There. Birdie is all done. Now, we're going to turn those wings into a dark amber color here. Right now, I just wanted to show you the completion of it. Now we're going to make it dark and look good. We're going to change it. So the trick to this is you got to heat it up and cool it down. So we're going to start heating up one side and the other side. Just a little glance of the flame. You don't want to remelt it, you just want to glance it. And now we got a little bit of darkness going to it. Now that it's cooled off a little, we're going to do it again. We got another level of darkness hitting it. Now you see the wings starting to come into play. See how they're getting a little darker? And you just keep repeating this process until you get the desired color you want. The trick is you have to heat it up, cool it down, heat it up, cool it down. And it changes the chemical makeup in the glass. and makes it darker and darker, and then adds a tinge of purple. Look at that now. Now that's why I love this color. Up against white, it looks beautiful. And that's how you do it. And then to get it off, you just tap. And Birdie is all complete. Good night, Gail. All right, let's check on our mushroom. And here we go. I think it looks good. And there's the little pink on the mushroom and the green top, pinky green. There's the little pinky green mushroom. I dig it. I wonder if the little black light will do that. What do you make in that uranium glass, and how much is the stuff sell for? I make all kinds of stuff for it. Make everything out of uranium that I can. So look at that little stem with the pink, and then we got the green. That's a cool little mushroom. That's like I said, little epic piece. Now we got to temper it. Must temper that. All right. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time for me to call it for the night. It's been 2.5 hours. I know, Insect Alien. I have some cool stuff coming up. This year's going to be fun. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate everybody hanging with me. You have been absolutely a fantastic group to hang with. So I will chat with you tomorrow, hopefully. Hit the subscribe button. Hang out. And yeah, I'll see you all later.